So good evening. I'm so happy. We were really worried nobody was going to show up tonight. Turned out you guys heard we were going to have free pizza and donuts, huh? Is that what got here? It's all right. We'll take it. Listen, speaking of, we could not have made this night possible tonight, so I just want to acknowledge it right up front. Pink Box Donuts brought us like 10 boxes of donuts, right? So yeah, I know. And like legit donuts, the kind that were decorated with, amazing.
Where are they?
Gone. 30 seconds. Gone. Gone.
Hook up your arteries very fast.
Yes, absolutely. It's good business security, right? Work security. Pete's Coffee brought us coffee tonight, so there's 10 gallons of Pete's Coffee in the community room if you need some, right? Darren from Albertsons. Darren, where'd you go? Are you in here? There he is. Darren from Albertsons brought us all kinds of treats. And he's been supplying this treat for over 3 years. When I was at Northwest, he did it every first Tuesday for us. They're a huge community partner. Pawan from 7-Eleven brought all of the pizza, as you can see in the back, and he has for well over 18 months, almost 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What's the last one that we said there was 5? Oh, Freed's Cookies brought us all the cookies tonight through Howard Hughes. Freed's Cookies bought those incredible little decorated cookies, and I heard they're fat-free, gluten-free. That's what I heard. Calories don't count. Maybe that's just a bad rumor. You know how those things start. But anyway, if you share them with somebody, it's only half the calories. So we just want to say, is that all?
One more.
One more.
With all those generous stakeholders, we ran out of beverage. So there's a resident here, a gentleman and his son, that ran out and got 2 cases of Coke and a case of water. He's out here.
Thank you. You guys were thirsty. Did you guys go out drinking before you came here? Is that what happened? It's all right. It's all right. You're entitled. So thank you for coming. We're so honored to open our home to you this evening. It has truly been such a pleasure to be a part of this project. I got to have the most amazing leadership team that I'm going to introduce you to in a moment, which has actually brought this whole thing to fruition. I'm just the face you get to see and the voice you get to listen to, but really all the hard work is done by my team. But none of this would be possible without the partnership we have with Howard Hughes. 4 or 5 years ago, Sheriff Lombardo, I don't want to steal someone's line, you might have heard before, Sheriff Lombardo had a dream, and in order to make that dream a reality, he partnered with Howard Hughes, and they have generously donated the land and built this building for us. And right? So you can clap for that. And for some reason, they let me be a part of standing it up and building it and being here to oversee it. But I'll tell you though, you know what they did to me though? In October, they took me out of Northwest Area Command, where I'd been for 2.5 years, and they put me in this building, because it was mostly built alone. As my husband will tell you, if you want to torture a true extrovert, put us in a building alone for 3 months. So my assistant is in here somewhere, Cindy, and we had chair races up and down the halls. We didn't really. Just kidding, no, we didn't. But no, truly, what an honor it's been to be a part of this project, and thank you to Howard Hughes for giving me this opportunity, and to Sheriff Lombardo, who trusted in Cindy and I to do this, and it's been the dream. Like, it's been the gift of a lifetime, the opportunity of a lifetime. And listen, I'm a Summerlin resident. I live up here. I have a vested interest in this community. I care very much about what goes on up here, and I got to take half of the Northwest Area Command over here. So as those of you that came with me from Northwest know that I love this space, I love this community, and I'm very grateful that you guys have chosen to come share it with us. But without further ado, I want you to meet my leadership team, who does all of the hard work while I'm out having chair races. So come up here, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So for the last 2 years, I've had the honor and privilege to serve with Lieutenant Rick Gibbon. He's my administrative lieutenant, which means he oversees all of the investigations that go on here, what we call our patrol detectives. He oversees community-oriented policing team, and he oversees the 2 Area Command intelligence officers that we have. And honestly, he's the majority of the brains of the operation. I'm the brawn. Nietzsche's that way. No, but Rick, I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about himself. It's just my job. I get to brag about him because he's way too humble. But he has a very, very extensive investigative career, and he comes to us with over 2 decades of experience, both on the street and doing some of the most complex investigations that this department does, both in intelligence and other arenas that he can't talk about yet because the statute of limitations is not up. But I will tell you that Summerlin is super blessed to have him, and I'm so lucky to have him as my right hand because he's really good at all the stuff that I'm terrible at. And that's what they tell you makes a good team, right? So I'm the idea fairy, and he makes them all come true. I think that's good, right? Right, and he has a golden doodle. That's our station dog. True. So if you see it extra, in full disclosure, if you're on this team, you have to have some sort of golden or doodle. So it's I'm just kidding, but it's truly a pleasure to have him as my partner in crime here. So I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about his career, so you feel the utmost in confidence that when I'm gone and not here, he's running the station, so you're always in good hands. And truthfully, he's probably running the station most of the time.
Good evening. And I think next week you're gone, so I'll be running the station.
You'll be here next week.
And I'm the introvert, so if a lone building, dark room, that's where I like to go. Again, my name is Rick Given. I'm happy to be the administrative lieutenant to Captain Larkin. I did follow her over here from Northwest. I'm just curious, who's come over here from Northwest First Tuesday? Amazing. Thank you all. I've been on 25 years come this month. My background includes firearms investigations, sexual assault. I went to Viper Task Force, where it's an auto theft task force. Went to our Internal Affairs Bureau. And then went to where I spent a lot of my career was criminal intelligence. And that's what she talks about, I can't talk about. And then from criminal intelligence, I was promoted to lieutenant, where I spent some time down in Convention Center, our strip corridor. Then went up to Spring Valley. I actually opened up Spring Valley Area Command. Anyone from Spring Valley when it opened? Amazing, thank you. And then she stole me away to Northwest, and then I've been honored to come to Summerlin and open up this beautiful building. I have an amazing team. I couldn't, like she said, I couldn't do it without my team. I did steal most of the sergeants from Northwest.
Sorry, Northwest.
They are an amazing team. I have 4 outstanding investigative sergeants that have a vast of experience. So I can tell you our motto is relentless follow-up, meaning that if crime occurs in Summerlin, there's no days off, there's no shift. We follow up relentlessly until we solve the crime or make an arrest, or till we exhaust all leads. Sometimes that happens. But I can assure you that our investigations are very thorough, and it's thankful to that team. COP, we were lucky enough, Sergeant Leahy right here in the corner. Sergeant Leahy has a vast experience. The team he runs, what you see today, the organization of what happened today and our grand opening was because of Sergeant Leahy and his team. If you give him a round of applause. And then I'll be introducing one of my sergeants that some of you may recognize, Sergeant Stu Richmond. He was our COP in Northwest. He's coming over as one of our flex sergeants. I have another sergeant, Sergeant Marty. There are plainclothes, sometimes proactive units. Sometimes they'll be in plain cars, so just be careful. No. They're an amazing team. So with all that said, I can assure you that for me, we have an amazing team, both in our patrol and in our investigative, and we look forward to serving you. So the main person that I stole from Northwest, and I had to do this through some prodding, I gave him a bigger office. I told him that he's going to have his own car. I said that he can have volunteers. We couldn't do everyone in yellow, please raise your hand. I tell you, Randy and these volunteers are amazing.
Randy, come here.
So I stole Randy from Northwest as well, and we could not do this without him. His foresight and the way he's able to bring the community together. The Neighborhood Watch program has flourished because of his hard work. And just so you know, Randy doesn't have a shift. This man, I see him at 10 o'clock at night giving presentations and coming in at 6 o'clock in the morning. So he's dedicated to the cause, and his vision is to create a community around HOAs, Neighborhood Watch, the Nextdoor app I'm sure some of you know about, and it's just been amazing, and thank you. I appreciate you.
See why I stole them away? Have fun, so lucky. So on swing shift, we have one of the most senior, and I didn't say old like senior like old, I said old like seniors and tenured and experienced and wise lieutenants on our shift. I'm really blessed that Lieutenant Ken Romaine decided to come over here. And listen, for a captain to have a senior lieutenant that gets to come over here and run a shift like swing shift, that is probably the busiest shift usually, with the craziest calls and all the things that go on. Like, listen, it lets me get into bed at night and know it's all good, because Ken will have it settled. He created a lot of the protocols that we use during dynamic events, something that we call incident command system. He totally revamped that and created things to make it easier for the cops out on the street. He understands not just rules and regulations, but how to keep these guys safe, because listen, folks, our number one priority is if we send 12 cops out, how many do we want to bring home? No doubt, right? And so he gets that, and that's really the main priority of these patrol lieutenants, that they're taking care of their people. You know, these cops are going out doing a very, very dangerous job with people that they're not always you guys that love them and embrace them, right? So I'm so blessed that he chose to come over here. I hope that he will not retire too quickly and really teach these young guys how to do this job and get Summerlin where it needs to be. I'm super honored to have him, Ken Romaine.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, really is. I've worked several places in the department. I've been on 26 years. I've never been to a first Tuesday that's this big, but maybe the open house has something to do with it. It's really good to see everybody here. I got to tell you, it's been very exciting. Again, I've been around for a little bit of time, worked different areas. It's been very exciting to see the energy with this team here, and not just the team, but everybody at the area command. Everybody's like ready to hit the door, just hit the motor running. It's been really exciting, just all the training that we've done and everything we've done, getting prepared for you folks to make sure that we're giving you guys the best service that we can, and that is the plan. Here at Summerlin, I can tell you we're going to be doing things much better than the other area commands. We kind of got a thing where we want to make sure that we're a little bit better than everybody else. Rick mentioned relentless follow-up. Well, we do that on everything, and you know, swing shift is very busy. We have a lot of things going on. We're going to do our best to get it to the calls and do whatever we can to help everybody out. And one of the things that we've noticed is the homeless. That's a big problem. We want to take care of that. We're going to do sort of the same version, sort of a relentless follow-up, wherever we can. If we can give them resource and get them somewhere where it helps them out, we're going to do that. Sometimes we might have to do it a different way with the rest or something like that. Unfortunately, sometimes that comes down to it, but that's one of our priorities here at Summerlin and on swing shift, actually all the shifts. So we're going to be tackling that problem head on. Give us a little bit of time to get our feet wet on that and to know where the areas are here. But that's one of the things that want to really hit the motor running with that. And again, I'm just honored to be here. I can't tell you, it's really exciting, especially near the end of my career. It's actually exciting to still feel involved, to still be able to just be excited to go to work every day. So thank you.
And I know he's hard to see.
And his nickname is Tiny.
Listen, he is the gentle giant. Do not mistake his height for anger or anything else. This is probably one of the kindest humans I've ever had the opportunity to meet in my life. This is our graveyard lieutenant, Brian Boxler. And we have a special bond because he's a dad to twins, just like me. So if we both look exhausted all the time, we have an excuse, right? But I stole Brian away from our Watch Commander program, which is a huge job here on the department. At all times, there's somebody in charge in the valley. It's called the watch commander. It's at the lieutenant rank, and their job is to oversee the entire valley, all critical incidents, anything of note, right? They show up on all those events. They keep track of them. They put a log together. They brief it up. They call the captains. They call, whatever. It's a huge, huge job and a big responsibility. They work long 12-hour shifts. And, when we were staffing this area command, we wanted to make sure that we had a good complement of experience, of tenure, and the ability to really bring someone in that cares, right? Because for us on this team, it's all about how we affect internally our cops and create that esprit de corps that makes them want to come to work with the attitude that Lieutenant Romaine was talking about, but also externally in the community. I need someone that you can't teach people skills. You're either a kind, good human or you're not. And so when we built this team, the one thing I will tell you about every one of these people up here is that they care more about you guys and the community and things that happen than I can possibly articulate to you. And I knew Brian was at the tip of the spear on that. So that's why we asked him to come over here and run Graveyard. He left a sweet day shift spot to come over here on Graveyard, which shows you how much he cares with twins at home. So you understand the level of commitment that he has. Right? So I just want you to know that we're thrilled to have him here, Lieutenant Brian Boxer.
Thank you, Captain. I just want to take this opportunity to address one question that I know that everybody in this room has. 6'11". All right. Yes, and I did play basketball, and yes, and I have 4-year-old twins. And like many of you, I live right down the street. So I live at Desert Foothills and Desert Sunrise, and I am ecstatic about taking my leadership and bestowing a strong leadership on the Graveyard team here. And I can't say enough for all of the leadership in the room, my fellow lieutenants and Captain Larkin here, about how excited we are at accomplishing our goals, and that is to keep every single person in this room and all of our families safe 24 hours a day. So one of the things that I am really excited about on Graveyard is for us to be strong, proactive officers. And please don't think that I am discounting our responsibility for calls for service. So responding to each one of your homes or businesses whenever you guys need us. That is absolutely important. But one thing that I think we can do on Graveyard, especially 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when it's 31 degrees, right? Even when it's 31 degrees and there is wind gusts of 50 miles an hour, my officers will be out there conducting vehicle stops and person stops. All right? I have been woken up at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night by cars driving recklessly, right? Doing donuts, driving extremely unsafely. And that's one thing my wife hits me at night, like, hey, you're going to take care of that, right, Brian? Hey, right? But I think not only is that a responsibility for my officers just right down the street, but throughout Summerlin Area Command. So with us conducting those vehicle stops and high volumes of vehicle stops, we're going to get those drunk drivers, right? Yes. We're going to get them. All right? We're going to take them to jail, and we're going to get those people who are doing that unsafe activity and who are preying on our good families. So that is one thing that I am absolutely excited about, and really instilling that strong work ethic on my Graveyard shift. So I really want to just say thank you for being here. And this means a lot. And so I am absolutely excited about being part of this leadership team and bringing all of our experience to Summerlin Area Command. So thank you.
I was going to say girl power, but then I was trying to think of a better opener. So it's really funny because tonight, and this actually happens often, people come up to Lieutenant Tavares and start talking to her thinking she's me. And I always wanted a body double. But I feel like I kind of got the best of both worlds here. I get a really great lieutenant and a body double. So, so this is my day shift lieutenant, Michelle Tavares. And I want to let you in on a little story that I know she probably gets tired of hearing, but it's like there's moments in your career where you just feel really proud. So a couple years ago, when I was in police academy, her dad put me through. Her dad was a captain in our police department, and he retired a couple years ago. But back in the day, he put me through and taught me a lot about being a police officer, and it's just a really great human. And so years later, I went on to become a training and counseling officer, attack officer at the police academy, which is the best job I ever had because they paid me to yell at people and work out. And my second academy that I put through, Michelle came through, and I got to put her through the police academy. And so it's really neat, right, generations, and now she gets to serve on my leadership team. And I'm super honored to have that connection. She's determined, she's focused, she's going to go a long way on this agency, and it's really exciting to have that connection, right? And we're the only two ladies on our leadership team at this point, so it's fun for us to kind of pave the way for the little daisies and those coming up behind us to help break that glass ceiling, right, for these young officers to show that they can do anything they want to do. And Michelle is a mom of 4, so just hug her later. So if we can come to work looking a little haggard, and when we come to work it's like a vacation. There was a mom here earlier that was pushing a stroller with 4 or 5 kids, and Michelle just walked her. It's fine. Michelle has a vast experience in investigations, also in patrol. She's a crisis negotiator for many years, which means she went out on the calls and tried to talk people down that were in crisis. Heck of a good lieutenant, heck of a good leader, phenomenal human being, and I'm super excited to have her on our leadership team, Michelle Sparks.
Thank you. So I just want to address the 2 questions I know. Yes, Brian is my twin. And I'm 5'2". Thank you, Captain, for that glowing introduction. As the Captain said, she put me through the academy. What a blessing that was, in disguise, because at the time I was miserable. But now it's paid off. I did a lot of time in investigations. I was in our problem-solving unit for 5 years, and then I went on to work in missing persons and sexual assault. Then I promoted, and I went to the other side of our department, and I did some training. I was in recruiting for a while, and then I went up to the academy myself to be a training and counseling sergeant. So again, I will agree with the captain. Best job I've had. They paid me to yell at people and work out. I mean, what's better than that? So I am very, very happy to be the day shift lieutenant here. Unlike some of these folks, I do not live in Summerlin. I live in Henderson. So that's how committed I am to being here. It is quite a drive for me, and I used to work over in Southeast before I came here, which was right by my house. And when I had this opportunity to come and work for Captain Larkin, I could not pass it up. So I agreed 100%. I said, let's do it, and here I come every day now. Day shift, I love the fact that I get to work day shift. We on day shift have the unique opportunity of partnering with the schools. So school violence is a big focus for us. As the captain said, I have 4 wonderful little kids. They're all small. 3 of them are in school, and 1 is still a baby. My oldest is 6, my youngest is a year and a half. So I'm missing bath time right now. Thank you for that. You are saving me. But as a parent, one of my biggest fears is sending my kids to school. It's scary. You guys know, if you have kids, if your friends have kids, if you have a niece or nephew, school violence is real. It's a real thing in this country, and in today's day and age, we just never know. And we're committed on day shift to ensuring that we keep those partnerships, that we know the layouts of our school, so that we can prevent anything from happening. Summertime doesn't mean school goes away. You know, we have to pay attention to what kids are doing in the summer. Prevention is a big aspect of what we do with the schools. We want to get in early, we want to get those kids on the right path so that we can prevent that school violence from ever occurring. But again, day shift gives us that opportunity that you don't have on swings or graveyard to have those partnerships and to ensure our cops are out there and making those connections with the kids. So as a parent, I just want you guys to know that I am committed to that aspect of your area command, and I will keep your kids safe, your nieces, your nephews, your neighbors' kids when you send them to school. As far as everything else, you know, we also do all the same focuses that the other shifts do, because here we are a team here at Summerlin, and we do the relentless follow-up, and we consider everything to be the aspect of everyone. So thank you guys for letting me be here and letting me be the shift lieutenant to work with you. I had the pleasure of meeting a lot of you out there tonight, and I enjoyed thoroughly talking and getting to know you. And those of you that thought I was the captain, thank you for the wonderful compliment.
All right, I'm going to get up here in about 30 seconds and hand it over to what you actually came here to hear tonight, is the presentation on the master plan for Summerlin, right? Which is really exciting to hear about the growth. And listen, make no mistake about it, that's why we're here. We get asked often, you know, why did you guys put the substation here? Well, the way that we had the boundaries divided before, Summerlin, as a whole community, was divided into 3 different area commands, right? It had Northwest, Spring Valley, and Enterprise. And when Tom Wagner and Kevin and I were sitting talking about it, it was like, that doesn't make much sense, right? There's no continuity. They had to go to 3 different captains to get things done or to have events, like whose area is this in. It was very confusing, and really there wasn't a way for us to bring the entire Summerlin together. So they had the amazing idea to have a station centralized here, and then somehow, I don't know how they did it, but they convinced the sheriff to redistrict and reboundary the entire valley. And it makes so much sense because now we go horizontal, right? We go from Cheyenne to Warm Springs, that's our north-south, and then the base of Red Rock, wherever BLM picks up, all the way down to Durango, except at Sahara, we cut down to Rainbow. Rainbow, we take it all the way over to Lake Mead, and Lake Mead, we come back up to Durango. So it's 70 square miles. Yeah, it's huge. They don't know yet, but we're going on a team jog. I like that. They probably all leave, but listen, and it makes so much sense, right? Because now we have a centralized hub where we can do Summerlin-based events in the surrounding areas, and we can bring you guys together as a whole. And it's really, really exciting for us to have that continuity with Howard Hughes. And as you're going to hear tonight, the growth that they have planned and really the way they're going to push and open and develop this place is just spectacular. And I think you're going to be blown away. What I want to tell you in closing is this. We're committed to customer service, exceptional customer service. And what I mean by customer service is the way that you're treated if you walk into our station. The way that you're treated when our cops show up at your house or when they stop you on a car stop, right? That's customer service. We are in the people business. We don't make any widgets. We don't sell anything. We are in the people business, okay? And they know this, and this is what we do internally and externally. The second thing is what Lieutenant Gibbons said is relentless follow-up. And what we mean by that is running down these cases until we can't run them down any further, because we know that the sooner we're on it and the sooner we can follow up on it, the better chance we have of finding the offender. And the last thing is, how do we develop those relationships, right, with you guys? Because we truly believe that every single person in a community is looking for 3 things: community, identity, and purpose. From youth and children up all the way until you no longer take your last breath, right? Until you take your last breath. We all want to connect. We all want to belong to something bigger than ourselves. So how do we create a community where we all feel included? And so we spend a lot of time in the schools. We spend a lot of time on homeless outreach. You might or might not know we spend a lot of time in religious outreach. I feel very strongly about partnering with all of the religious communities. We do a lot of work in anti-Semitism. We do a lot of work in preventing radicalization. Those are just things that we hold in top priority, because nobody should be afraid to go pray. Nobody should be afraid to go to their mailbox. No matter who you bow your head to, who you love, or what color your skin is, you shouldn't have that fear. And we really hold that as our tenets here at Summerlin Area Command. So you'll see us do a lot of things, a lot of religious-based events. You'll see us do a lot of LGBTQ inclusive events, all of these things that we feel bring community together. And we hope you will step out of your comfort zone. If you've always lived in one kind of community, step out of your comfort zone and come to a different comfort zone. Come to an event that makes you a little uncomfortable. Come learn about people that are not like you. And our Northwest folks, you know, over the last 2.5 years, we had a lot of different speakers. And just so you guys have a feeling of how First Tuesday works for us, we don't do a traditional, this is the gang unit, this is the K-9, because you can probably read that on the website, and honestly, most of you have been coming to First Tuesday for so long, you've probably seen that presentation a few times. We want to give you things that make you richer, that give you a little bit of insight into this community and what you can do to be active participants in it. I need you guys to go out there and be our messengers. I need you to go out there and be activists. I need you to take a stand that you're no longer going to put up with hate crimes. You're no longer going to put up with, you know, these potential children that are going to go through the radicalization process when we have the ability to connect with them and get in front of it. But it takes you being aware, increased education, understanding, and being willing to report it. All of these things is while we build our First Tuesdays out. And I get asked all the time, what's the main crime that you think is going to be in Summerlin? Home burglaries, stolen guns, auto burglaries. On the other side, we'll see, I'm sure, a lot of domestic violence, and what we always see is youth-based crime. All of which we can get in front of, but you gotta help us, okay? We can't do it alone. I just wanna let you in on a little secret. When you leave your house, your gun that you left in your underwear drawer, it's not protecting your underwear. I promise. I promise. You gotta buy a safe. You gotta practice responsible gun ownership. It's not that there's people living up here that want to cause harm necessarily, but they drive in from California. Okay, they do. They drive in from across the country because we live in a beautiful scenic neighborhood, and they know that there's a better chance that you're going to have a gun in your home to steal. Maybe jewelry, but most of the time they're looking for guns. And in Northwest, a couple years ago, 2 stolen guns stolen in a week. 3 days later, both of those guns were used to shoot at our cops. We had 2 officer-involved shootings involving stolen guns out of home burglaries from our own area command. Yeah, and that's when we were like, that's it, right? It's our number one priority. It's our number one mission to drive down stolen guns, and we did it in Northwest. We did it by 30%. Rick's team that he put together last summer drove it down spectacularly. So we're on that mission again, but we need your help. You're going to see on social media we post a lot of stuff about lock up your firearms. When you leave your gun in the center console of your car, it's not protecting your car. I promise. You got to take it with you. I know it's like, you don't want to take it out, it's a pain. Then you can't bring it with you in the first place. You have to, and you got to tell people. You got to ask your neighbor, hey, do you have a safe? Are you putting that away? Are you locking it up? We have to just keep driving that point home, folks, because these guns are used to hurt and kill not just our cops, but other people out in the community. So help us on that. It's going to be our big initiative to really make a difference on home burglaries. Randy is just spectacular at posting different ideas that you can use to keep your home safe. And I know Lieutenant Given is working on a first Tuesday for next month that's going to be all based around home security, stolen guns, and different ideas to really drive home what we can do. Because in the age of technology, there's no reason, right, that we're not getting in front of this. But you guys have to take active roles. You just do. So that also comes down to how we're going to protect our religious facilities and what we're going to do to make sure we are target hardening. It's not a matter of fear. It's a matter we just have to act smarter, right? We just have to get in front of it, and we have the ability to do that. So I'm honored that you guys showed up tonight to support us. We are only as good as you guys supporting us. And we're going to need that as we go forward over the next year. We have a lot of exciting things planned for you. We're going to take First Tuesday on the road. So you'll see us around the community. We're going to bug Howard Hughes to use a few of their places. We'll probably go up to Sun City one month. I had to be careful of you guys. Last time we went, you had a dance party, and it was a little out of control. So we either got to plan when they're having it or for the morning, day before. Yeah. But we're going to come. So we'll come. We're going to come around the community. If you have ideas or suggestions, it needs to be a big enough space to hold about 100 people because we want the community to come out. We want to be in your neighborhoods where you feel, like we're there. And just so you know, every month we're going to do an internal award or recognition for one of our cops, and we do an external award for somebody in the community that's really gone above and beyond. We call them our Unsung Hero Awards. And it's a chance for us to brag. The lieutenants pick somebody on their shift. Every month, a different lieutenant will run First Tuesday. And they get to pick who they honor, they get to pick the topic, and they get to do all the presentations. Because you guys get tired of hearing from me, so I want them to do it. And next month is Lieutenant Gibbons' First Tuesday, so I don't know what he has up his sleeve, but I'm sure he'll push it out on social media. And he has an award he wanted to do tonight because we felt like in the opening of Summerlin we should be able to brag about one of our guys, right? So we wanted to brag real quick about one of our sergeants, and then I'm going to let the undeniable Tom Wagner come up here. Sergeant Stu Richmond, where are you at, buddy? Come here. You're going to ask where his accent is from. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Texas.
That's
South Texas.
South Texas, yeah. It's a different part of Texas. Just say hello to the audience. Hello, everyone. This is a good segue from what the captain was talking about. If you don't know Captain Larkin, you know that she has the futuristic vision. she has a vision that goes beyond today. She's able to see things that other people can't see. And what it takes is a team to see that vision, help mold it, and then we have to implement it, right? We need people that are committed to implementing that vision. When she talks about reaching out to the schools, we have a partnership with CCSD Police, but we have private schools as well. And so what we do, there's a lane where an officer is committed to ensuring the safety of our kids in schools. Our faith-based, we have Christian and non-Christian faith-based organizations that we reach out to, and we want to bring them all together. He was able to implement that to where all religions, all faiths come together, and they share common problems. There is no face to crime, right? There's no a certain face to it. So they're able to bring their problems to us as well. When it comes to homelessness and people who are downridden, they need help, they need resources. And to implement that vision, that's what we needed. We needed someone to step up and do that. And Stu Richmond brought the implementation of that vision to bring community together, to bring the different aspects of the teams together. And then she talked about stolen guns and burglaries. And it is true, we did bring it down 30%. We made an impact. And the reason why is because Sergeant Stu Richmond wore 2 hats over at Northwest Area Command. He was the COP sergeant during the day, and at night he brought a team of officers, amazing proactive officers. We stole one from each shift, from Flex, from COP, and they went out and made a difference in our community by going door to door, telling people how to lock up their guns, how to be safe, how to be aware of what's going on, bringing together with Randy the neighborhood watch and the HOAs. But we couldn't have done it without someone with the drive and the tenacity to do it. I got to tell you, the reason I stole Stu Richmond from Northwest Area Command is he's amazing. This man can do things that I've never seen someone do before.
And he can do the triple jump.
And he can do the triple jump. He has awards for it.
He gold medals for it.
So when I brought him over, not as COP, what I saw in his proactive team was that he can lead a team of officers to be proactive, to look for the burglary suspects, to look for those that are preying upon our communities. For that, I thank you. If you don't know about Northwest Area Command, we have a coin, and on the coin is a mountain lion. For Sergeant Stu Richmond, this is a replica of our coin from Northwest Area Command. On the back, officers from them that have signed it. We thank you.
Pretty good replica.
Yes, good replication. We thank you for your tenacity, and I'm glad to have you.
Just do.
All right, so that's that. We just wanted to brag and tell you how awesome he is. And he really did get a gold medal in the triple jump in the police games like 9 years in a row. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys. If you don't know, a man that probably needs no introduction, but my good friend Tom Wagner. Tom somehow convinced the sheriff to give me this job. He probably, how much did you slip into that envelope?
Well, you know how sore his shoulder is?
Yeah, that's what that was from.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say publicly thank you for this opportunity. I wouldn't be here without you. I know that full well. I'm super grateful for you and what you've done, what you've given this community, this building, this opportunity. You guys are visionaries, and we're so lucky to have you. So thank you.
Thank you. I feel the same way. What a wonderful night. What a wonderful commander and leadership team. And what a terrific area command this is. This is fantastic. So good to see everybody here tonight. One quick thing, the incredible coincidence, I too am 6'11". So I was before the leg reduction. So yeah, a little bit of a mix-up. I thought I was teaching a Pilates class tonight, but we do have a little bit of a slideshow here, talk a little bit about what's happening in Summerlin. What is going to come to this open land? Almost 6,000 acres to the west of us here, so there's a lot of growth yet to happen. I'm going to ask, is it possible to try it without the lights on, or is that too weird?
No, we're doing it.
So there's only one light switch for the whole, who the hell built it?
I don't know.
Anyway, greetings to the brand new Summerlin Area Command, or as we call it, Sasha Town Area Command. So this was a few days ago. We had a ribbon cutting out here, and it was a gorgeous day, which is to say it was cold and windy and horrible, but it was well attended and really wonderful to do. There you see Sheriff Joseph Lombardo, and you see his name on the building, and that's because it darn sure belongs there. It was about 4.5 years ago. Kevin and I met with the sheriff, and we started talking about maybe building and getting a substation in Summerlin. And I'll put it this way, this was not a project or a deal, this was a partnership from the very get-go. And it resulted in a great deal of planning. Then there were permits to get. There were off-site improvements to put in. Then there was construction. We went through all of that and then cut the ribbon on this beautiful new substation for Summerlin. And we couldn't be more proud to have these wonderful community policing officers here. And when you hear about COP, community-oriented policing, and that is really a huge difference in the way it used to be. So that's why it's going to make a huge difference for those of us who live here. This is the sheriff with their newest undercover detective. Real low-key, 7-foot Summerlin Sam Jackrabbit. But this is the station. This is a money shot of it. And I know that early on I was told, boy, that view looking east, have you guys seen that view? That view is incredible. That's going to stay that way, right? And I have not had the courage to tell Sasha or anybody, we're building a giant asphalt processing plant right here. So forget the view, the smell's going to be terrible. But no, this is a kind of a frontier line for us. This looking west, all of that land. It's yet to be developed, and it's all in forward planning now, so it's very interesting. All of this land was acquired by Howard Hughes back in 1952. But the land that he originally acquired went all the way over the mountains and into Red Rock Canyon. And so the early planners of the Summerlin community in the 80s went in there and said, world-class community, but it would be inappropriate to develop where you could see it from the scenic loop road. And so we retracted that boundary. That's the tan area that you see right here. That's 5,300 acres that was pulled back in '88. And then I was involved in a federal land exchange for another 1,100 acres. So 6,400 acres we pulled out of Red Rock Canyon. And that created a buffer zone and a gateway into Red Rock Canyon. I only say this because a lot of people say, geez, how come you guys are building up that slope? I always want to tell them the story. Listen, we moved out of Red Rock Canyon, and we did it because we think the appropriate place for development is inside the valley proper, and that's where we are now. So that's the configuration for Summerlin today. This is what it looked like when we started. Empty. That's probably 88 right there. And today, it's a lot different. And in fact, home to about 100,000 plus residents. When we're done, there will be more than 200,000 residents in Summerlin. 24 villages are complete or actively developing, and we got about 6,000 acres of open land yet. 5,000 of it is this land we're talking about right here. I am pointing the right way, aren't I? I hope so. But you see, all of this yellow is the open land we're talking about here. And we're standing right here, right now. The Beltway and Charleston and Far Hills. So you see that we're going to be developing this area. And you can probably see it when you pulled in. That's all infrastructure that's going into the ground. roadways, all of the utilities. We're putting all of that in now so that this land can be sold to the home building companies. And that's what you're going to see happening over the coming months and years. One thing we like to point out, though, we like to try to keep this, this beautiful, pristine desert. We want to nurture it, and we want to keep the scenic views really pristine as possible. This is an arroyo that we're going to maintain. All of the large riverbeds we're maintaining, and we're going to prevent them from ever being developed as part of our permit with the federal government. But you see what we did here was we lined it with boulders. We painted the boulders with permeon, which makes them look natural. And then we do what we call re-veg. We actually harvest the native plants of the desert before we go into grade areas that are going to be neighborhoods or commercial areas. We take those plants and we nurture them, and then we put them back in the ground. May have to water them for 2, 3, 4 months, temporary, and then we never put another drop of water on them, and it looks pretty good. It maintains the look of the desert and uses 0 water. This is something that you see in other areas too, but that's another look at a riverbed that we just finished. All of these plants were transplanted from areas that were about to be graded. This is down in the summit area, the golf course. It's called the blended landscape. Native vegetation, transplanted, along with desert landscaping and then some turf for the golf. So we're proud of the fact that we got a bit of a stewardship of the environment, and that's very important as we go up that, that alluvial plain right here, all of that slope. Well, this is a paid model running on one of our trails. But it's important to know, we got 150 miles of trails. #1 rated amenity in Summerlin by our residents, trails, with a bullet, always at the top. And we have 235 plus parks, 22 community and village parks. We got one of those larger community and village parks that's under development now in Stonebridge. If you know, Stonebridge is the village that's just past the Paseos. And so that's coming along real good. These parks are a lot of fun. You see a lot of parents getting up there with the kids. We have 14 houses of worship. Quick story. I worked at Clark County for a few years. Learned a lot of stuff, a little bit of a lot of stuff, actually. And so, get hired by Hughes, and I'm at the first planning session. And they say, where are we going to put our next house of worship? And they start looking at the maps. And I'm the new guy, and I lived in Summerlin, so I pipe up and say, geez, there's a lot of churches and houses of worship in Summerlin already. And the VP of Planning said, yeah, well, hey, we did our homework. Turns out there are more houses of worship per capita in Summerlin than, in Las Vegas, than any other American city. So I waited a beat, and then I said, you do know they count the wedding chapels, right? And it was dead silent, so probably the bad news was we overbuilt the religious community, but the good news is we're all going to heaven. So. Schools, we have 26 K through 12, and that's 14 public, 2 charter, and 10 private. We got some higher education as well. A lot of good educational system and opportunities in Summerlin. These are the master associations, in case you're wondering about how the community lays out. The pink is Summerlin North, totally built out. The green is Summerlin South. It's got a few more years, but it's approaching build out. And then again, the yellow is what's going to be coming, and that's 5,000 plus acres to go. All of that is administered in terms of the Summerlin Council, which is, kind of think of it as our Parks and Rec Department. It's an overarching Parks and Rec Department that's funded by all of the dues. You see we got some yoga with goats there, and Summerlin Sam. That middle shot is some of our newest affordable housing, actually. So. But we do like to show the community at large what we're all about. So we put on events that bring people from all through the whole valley. And that would be the Festival of the Arts, or the holiday parade, which is fun, or yoga on the lawn, or a tour to Summerlin. And we just think it's a great way to show off the active outdoor lifestyle of Summerlin. And all of that, most of that takes place in downtown Summerlin. It's come a long way. We built it to be a place where families would gather and people would be able to spend some time together. It's not just shopping at a store. It's dining out and really having a good time of the family just hanging out. We like this picture because we're not sure what the little guy on the far left is doing. That could be some drought relief going on. But it turned out good. I mean, do you guys like downtown Summerlin? Thank you. That's great. We like it too, and we want you to know that it's always updating and evolving. So here's the new stuff. True Food Kitchen. Anybody been over there? Yes. Pretty good. It's really nice, kind of a very good vegetarian food, but also other food. It's really high quality food. And right there next to it is Warby Parker. It's an eyeglass place. It used to be online, now it's in bricks and mortar. It's funny how that's working. It's kind of coming the other way for some of these outfits. Jing just opened. It is open now. Did you go?
Oh yeah, outrageous.
It's fantastic. It's high-end Asian. So it's Chinese, Japanese, Thai, and every single thing that I've had in there to eat so far, and I'm wearing 3 pairs of Spanx right now as a result, was fantastic. It's high-end, wonderful Asian cuisine. You got to try it out. It's kind of right near, it's where Fogo de Chao used to be. And Lululemon, they went across the street and expanded. They doubled their size, and the reason was they wanted to add more menswear. So men's athletic wear, awesome. They got a great department in there. And then Wolfgang Puck's Grill, they changed it out, and they partnered with those 3 players on the Vegas Golden Knights, and it's now called the Players Locker. And they put some new stuff on the menu, and it's a lot of fun too. Here's what's coming soon in downtown Summerlin that we can tell you about. There's a couple of things not yet ready to really put out there. Andiron closed down for a while, and it's changing over to a full-on steakhouse. Gorgeous interior, completely changed. It's going to be really nice. You're going to love it. And Casper is kind of a hip mattress store online. This is their first bricks and mortar store. So, can I just talk like this? Is that right? Yeah. Because this thing's kind of going in. No.
I know who built this place.
Yeah, I know. All right, so that's Casper. Hollister, I guess it's a store.
It's
for
a hipster
kids.
store.
Is it a hipster? Young hipster.
Young hipster, yeah.
Okay. Madani Furniture is contemporary furniture and pretty cool. I didn't know either. I had to look it up. I don't write these. Sakara Med Spa. That's where I'm going to get my eyebrows waxed. Mora Iced Creamery is going to be our really cool ice cream store that's opening up by the time summer gets here. So, all the stuff that we talk about that people think is downtown Summerlin is there, right there. But actually, all of this is in addition part of downtown Summerlin. So when you really think about it, it's that whole area, all this area. It's 400 acres. That is a true downtown when you come down to it, and it's going to be looking a lot different in a few years. We may build as many as 4,000, maybe even as many as 6,000 urban dwelling units in there. And those will be everything from brownstone neighborhoods to townhomes to mid-rise or even high-rise condos. And apartments, which were already there with the apartments. Constellation, which looks like this. And Tanager, which is half done. We're just starting on the second round now. City National Arena, some hockey team. Boy, that place is phenomenal, and it is just fun to visit. There's 2 sheets of ice, and so you can watch the little kids learning how to play hockey or learning how to skate. And then the team, of course, practices there. It's phenomenal. And then next to it, Las Vegas ballpark. Anybody been to the ballpark? Oh, yeah. That ballpark was a pipe dream for a long time. Had lunch with Don Logan, I think about 8 years ago, so that was an even longer period of time. And that it has finally come to be is just spectacular. We're proud of the way it turned out. We're proud of the team and the way they played. Don Logan was named the top baseball executive of all of minor league ball. I got to tell you, my wife, my much better half, Susan, sitting right here, she said when we were building it, she says, I want to buy 2 club level season tickets. And I said, honey, you do know we own the stadium and the team, right? She said, I don't care. I want to give the tickets to family and friends. And you know what? Fantastic truth to that. It's just a great gathering place. You don't even have to really like baseball to really have a good night out at the ballpark. And that's the swimming pool in center right field, which is booked out all through the new year, by the way. And oh, that's Spruce Goose. He's a bless you. He's the wingman for Aviator. That's our grandson right there too. But those are the 2 mascots. And this is Haley Dawson. She threw the first pitch, and she lives in Henderson. And she was born without a hand. And the students at the Howard Hughes School of Engineering at UNLV built her a prosthetic hand that would allow her to throw a baseball. Wow. And she is the first person to throw out a first pitch at every single major league stadium in America. Oh. And we were so happy to have her at our opening. She's just a delight. There she is warming up. And there's the first pitch. And just filling out some of the other fun of that first night is the back dog. That is Finn. And he travels with his own hydrant. Who doesn't? But that's his. In the time in between innings, he gets his little cooler, and he runs out there, and he does this because he is taking a cool drink to the umpire. Yeah. And he is the best boy. He's 7 years old now. We just can't wait to see him back on the field. So, that's ballpark, that's downtown Summerlin. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going to happen out here in the west. Again, we're right here, and this whole area is already under development, and we're putting in the infrastructure here. This is reference up here. So you can see there's going to be a lot of action right along the 215 Beltway right here. And this is Charleston. This area right here is going to be mixed use. It's going to be some traditional suburban neighborhood, single family detached, and some urban residential as well. I just brought this because it's got cool colors on it, but this right here is a massive park. It's going to have a central park that's 95 acres, give or take. Wow. And it's really going to be interesting. We're going to work with the city of Las Vegas on that and do some very interesting things. But this is going to be the commercial core, and if you're looking to where this is, Summerlin Parkway, hitting the 215 right here, that's the front door into this area. And again, we're right here right now. So there's good development, and we've got it down against the 215, because as we go up that slope, we will become less and less dense. We want less and less impact on the view shed as we go, and we intend to maintain and preserve those view corridors looking up at those beautiful mountains. This is just some drawings of some of the linear parks and stuff that you'll see in there. But these are some of the, this might be the feel of some of the villages in Summerlin West. Apartments or townhomes or urban living environments like this. Lots of job opportunity as well. This is a place called Red Point. Red Point Square is a commercial area as well. If you look, you can see way in the back, that's downtown Summerlin. What I'm trying to paint here is a picture that there's a variety of development yet to come. The most dense part of it will be against the 215, and as we go out, a lot more regular neighborhoods. We have set aside 3 parcels for elementary schools, 2 parcels for middle schools, and 1 parcel for an additional high school. If we need more, we'll do more. But that's part of development, pays for development in a master plan. This is another just artist concept of what these neighborhoods would look like. A little bit of retail mixed in like that, so it makes it real friendly, walkable, and that again is just a lot of the green space and not getting into the mountain. That's why we pulled that boundary back. You might see other areas in the community where the mountains are sliced and diced. I mean, that stuff is going to look like that forever. So that's why we wanted to move that off the mountain and keep development down in the valley where it belongs. Anyway, that's my presentation. Except, I do have an encore, but it's just this. I wanted to show you. You know what the little red rocks are when you look up there, right? Most of you? Yes. It's those red rocks that are up in the corner. They call them little red rocks. Some of them are 4 or 5 stories tall. There are 5 Paiute Indian cultural sites within those rocks. And we are committed to preserve them. By law, we have to put a 100-foot boundary around each one. And that would amount to 2 acres, 3 acres. We're doing the whole Red Rock outcroppings, 120 acres, and we're going to preserve it in perpetuity. And we're going to allow, of course, archaeologists or students to go up there and see the cultural sites. But for regular people to get up there and just enjoy this, we are going to build an interpretive trail system that talks about the people who lived here long before Europeans got here. They were very resourceful. They lived in the driest desert in North America, and folks, there's no Walmart. I mean, everything they needed they had to get from the land, and we're going to tell that story in trails that have these interpretive signs. I met with the elders. I took them out there. They were fantastic. They were all women, this particular group. They were a hoot, and they wanted to tell me, well, this plant here is fibrous, and we would crush it, and that's what we would dry the fibers and make our sandals. And this plant's medicinal, and this plant over here has berries in the fall, and they're high protein. You get the picture. They had an incredible life. They were down in the valley in the winter, up on Mount Charleston in the summer, and they were right here in Summerlin in the spring and fall. So we're going to tell that story. Anyway. Thank you.
You're amazing.
That's it.
You're amazing. Are you guys so happy you live in Summerlin? Not too late. Not too late. Right?
Yeah.
They all recruit Wes eventually.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
So we just wanted to really give you guys, 1, a view of how lucky you are, but 2, like inspiration for what's coming. And that's another reason that, Howard Hughes partnered with the sheriff to put this incredible station here, because they have the foresight to see the growth that's coming. So we're excited. Thank you for this partnership. Thank you for sharing him long hours, Susan, because I know he's probably gone a lot.
I learned a lot too.
So thank you.
Okay, man.
You're the best.
Thank you.
So shop at downtown Summerlin. Hey, before we let you guys leave, if you'll just indulge me for 1 more minute, I want you guys to meet the people that make the real magic around the station happen. Our community-oriented policing team. Will you guys come out real quick? I'm going to have Brian introduce his team. But Lieutenant Gibbon talked about all the different lanes. These are the men and women that fill these lanes. And we have an extraordinarily large team compared to other stations because we believe if we do the work on the front end, that we won't have to clean it up on the back end. So, Brian?
So, my name is Brian Leahy. I'm the Community Policing Sergeant. I was very fortunate. I was a patrol sergeant under Captain Larkin over in Northwest, and I was able to be stolen and brought over here. I'm very lucky and fortunate. With that, we also stole a couple of the community policing people that were under Stu Richmond, that tall, good-looking British chap that was in here earlier. He built a heck of a team, and I was able to steal the same design that he made. So the people that really put together tonight under Captain Larkin and Lieutenant Gibbons' vision were the people who are up here and the volunteers that you see in the yellow jackets. Their dedication really made this tonight flow. I'll introduce real quick. Outside, when you drove up, the people that were protecting your cars, protecting you when you walked up, were these two cold young chaps right here, Dan and Dan. They're also making sure that you guys are, your cars are safe, and they're going to be out there patrolling again. We have Lori, who is out in a car shuttling people back and forth that have a hard time walking. She wanted to stay out there in case someone wanted to sneak out and get a ride. But to really quickly go over the importance of Captain Larkin's vision here is every police officer is a community policing officer. But this team right here is really the clearinghouse that comes in, gathers all the information, and pushes it out to patrol so that we can really focus on what we need to. Officer Van Dyke here is a part of the apartment complexes. So she's making contact with all the managers, seeing their needs, and bringing it back to the captain and the lieutenant to push out to the patrol officers that the lieutenants are leading. Officer Perry here will be heading up our homeless liaison. I don't know if that's an issue that you guys have thought about at all, but we might have 1 or 2 homeless out here. But the great thing is we're really focusing on getting them resources and taking care of the problem. That is absolutely something that we are focusing on. So Dan here is going, Officer Perry here is going to be leading it up and taking in the information, because there's a lot of people that give us tips, and we will be taking it, tracking it, so that we can show that, hey, we gave this person a warning, we gave him another warning, we cited him, and now if we have to arrest, but every step of the way we've offered resources, we're going to document that, because we don't want to criminalize anyone's problems, but we do want to help them so that it's not a problem for everyone else also. Officer Pinto right here is going to be a jack of all trades. Some of the programs that we're going to be starting up is going to be You Are Never Alone, called Yana, that's been very successful in other communities, where elderly people that are pretty much homebound can be contacted by the police department, and every day or a couple times a week check on them. If they don't respond, we'll call again. If they don't respond, someone will go out and knock on that door to see if they're doing okay. So some of the part of that project will be making sure that they are being self-sufficient, that they have food, that they're being taken care of. If not, we partner with a lot of elderly services that we might be able to guide them in the right direction. Officer Wenzel is going to be leading up the like the squatters. A lot of people that have a beautiful house in your neighborhood, but yet some people just don't fit, seem to be living in that house, and none of them have a car, but yet they have this big, beautiful house. A lot of times we're faced with, that's called a squatter that doesn't own that house and they have no rights into it. So that's one of the faucets that he'll be looking into. Officer Jeremy Robertson, all the people that came from Northwest will probably recognize a couple of these officers. But Jeremy's made connections with all the schools, private or public, and he is really making sure that, again, like Lieutenant Tavares said, we're making sure that we're doing everything we can to be out ahead of any kind of problems that we see, not just like any kind of problems with the children, but also making sure that they're safe. We're taking steps to make sure that all the officers here know the schools, so the first time that they get there will be in training, not when we need them and they're calling 911. So they'll know exactly where to go. Officer Elliot Castillo, we stole from another COP down at Enterprise Area Command, because now we've inherited all the way down past IKEA. So a great person to steal. Elliot's doing like part of our PAL program, where they're dealing with mentoring kids and going out there and getting the kids on the right path, because if we can get the kids on the right path through proper mentorship at an early age, well, that's going to probably solve a lot of problems later on. And then we have Officer Muir, who's doing it in a lot of our religious facilities and going out and making connections and breaking down those boundaries that the captain and lieutenant have talked about so much. So tonight, literally, was Captain introduced me as the person that was responsible for this, and if that was true, then it's because of these officers right here. So if you could give them a round of applause, please. Thank you, Captain.
Did you get here?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. So yeah, this is the team. If you have questions at the end of this, we don't take questions out loud, or else you guys will never actually get out of here. These guys are the smartest people in the room. They're going to answer all your questions. They have pen and paper in case you have a specific address or a complaint or something very specific. Grab one of these guys after we get done. They'll take all your information and they will ensure that it gets put on our follow-up log and it gets handled. Okay, so just so you know, at First Tuesday, that's how we do it. Just in order to be respectful of your time. So, thank you guys, you're amazing. You're beautiful. And just in closing, before I let you guys go, because you're probably all ready to go home and have a cocktail and put your pajamas on, right? Me too. I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to introduce our facilities director, John Kruger. John, raise your hand real quick. He's responsible for like everything that happens here. So. He kept me focused and on the straight and narrow to understand, because this is a building, but without all of the stuff and things that make it actually work, and cars and everything. He did everything. So, John, thank you for everything. We're so grateful. So grateful. All right, so thank you for making our first Tuesday so awesome. Tom, thank you for everything you did.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for supporting us. I hope that next month you'll come back and be just as eager. Bring your friends. Bring your friends of friends. Like one of my volunteers recruited like 30 neighbors. So Howard, I think somebody can maybe bring 31 next month. They'll have you. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for trusting us. Give us a little bit of patience as we get all of our wheels moving the same direction, same pace, but we'll get there. Keep giving us feedback. Let us know where we're hitting the mark and more importantly, where we're not hitting the mark, so we can ensure that you guys all have the kind of quality of life you so deserve. Thank you. God bless you, and have a great evening.